Okay, so looks like we are good to go. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me. As you know, I really appreciate you taking the time out to listen to me ramble on. Thank you so much for spending your personal development time with me. I really appreciate you. Today I'm going to talk about the 2-minute rule. I have a blog post called the 2-minute rule, and it is by far my most read, my most interacted with, my most celebrated blog post, and it's a couple of years old now. And so I thought, given the attention that piece continues to receive and that concept continues to receive, I thought it was worthwhile revisiting in one of these videos. So the 2-minute rule. I have to tell you, when I first read about the 2-minute rule, discovered the 2-minute rule, I thought it was lightweight. I thought it was unimportant. I completely missed it, and I am sure that lots of you will completely miss it as well, or will have completely missed it. And I hope that today I can paint it in a light that is going to show you how key it is to our to increasing our productivity, but also eliminating a potential source of procrastination from our world. And increasing productivity and decreasing procrastination are two sides of my effectiveness triangle, the other being building new habits. And so I think the 2-minute rule fits really nicely into that triangle. It's a habit that you can build. It reduces your procrastination and it increases your productivity, and all of that glory I completely missed. So the 2-minute rule is a concept that was first introduced by David Allen in his book, Getting Things Done. If you haven't read Getting Things Done, I urge you to go and get a copy of that book. It is going to change your life. Even if you don't implement everything that's in there, it can be pretty tough to do that, and pretty tough to maintain the level of stringency that David Allen recommends. But there are so many concepts in there and so many different ways to think about the stuff that you need to get done that I would highly recommend you get a copy and read it as quickly as you possibly can, and then read it again and again and again until you're able to introduce those concepts into your world. And the 2-minute rule is one of those concepts, and I completely missed it. I'm a massive advocate of getting things done. GTD, David Allen's system that he lays out in that book. I first discovered it maybe 12, 13, 14, maybe 15 years ago even. And I discovered it at a time in my life where I was a young father. I had new responsibilities, mortgages and kids to feed, and I was, my career was starting to take off, and I was taking on ever more responsibility and trying to figure out how you make all of that stuff work whilst being good at all of it. And what I found was that I was drowning under the weight of all of that stuff. And GTD came along at the right time. It was the lifeline, if you like, while I was drowning. It had a massive impact on me, as you can possibly tell. Possibly tell not only from this video, but from everything I write about and talk about and record about. So I'm sure if you've seen any of my previous work, none of this will come as a surprise to you. But the 2-minute rule I completely missed. And why did I miss it? Well, one of the dangers about getting things done, one of the pitfalls that you can fall into when you first engage with it, is that the system itself can feel like you're winning. So what is the system? The system is to have no open loops, nothing in your inbox, nothing in your email inbox that you haven't processed. You process everything, and everything that you need to do gets dragged out of those inputs and put onto lists. and you build these incredible lists of things to do, and they're worded beautifully, and you've thought about the verbs that you're going to use, and you've structured it in such a way that it's going to lead you into this utopia of productivity. And the appeal of that productivity utopia is such that just putting something on your list feels like a win. An email comes in, hidden in the text of that email, in the how are you doings, there's something for you to do in that email. You read the email, you drag out the thing that you need to do, you put it on your list. It feels like a win. You feel great. You feel like you're Teflon. You've got this. You didn't actually do anything. You didn't actually achieve anything. All you did was add something to your already long list of things to do. And that is one of the pitfalls of the GTD system, is that you can get really caught up in the system side of it. You can get really excited by the system side of it. If you're anything like me, you'll get really excited. I started this on this kind of way of tracking my productivity. I started it on paper in a really nice organizer. I had printed labels on tabs in my organizer. I thought it was amazing. It was amazing, but the building of that organizer and the recording of everything on my lists wasn't actually getting anything done, even though I was, massively excited by it. So, how did I miss the 2-minute rule? So the 2-minute rule says that when something comes into your world that needs to be done, if you can do it in less than 2 minutes, you should do it there and then. The reason being, David Allen's reasoning behind this rule is that it's just a matter of efficiency, because taking that thing that's only going to take you 2 minutes to complete, writing it on your list, then going away, then coming back to your list when you're ready to do it, taking that thing back out, thinking it through, and then getting it done probably takes longer than 2 minutes. So you might as well do it when it first shows up, when it first raises its head in your world. And there's loads of sense in that, isn't there? But I thought to myself, well, I love putting things on my lists. I love my lists. I love putting things on my lists. The whole point of this system is that I'm going to get to everything on my list anyway. So even if a 2-minute thing came in, I threw it onto my list, safe in the knowledge that I was going to get to it later. I discovered I never got to those things. What happens is your lists are long, and the way that you choose what you're going to do next is driven by your priorities. It's driven by the goals that you want to achieve. It's driven by deadlines in your world. And excuse me, those 2-minute things very rarely become priorities, just by virtue of the fact that they are small and insignificant and should be really quick to do. You end up not doing them. You kind of procrastinate on these things just by virtue of them being the runts of the litter. Runt procrastination, if you want, if you want to label it in that way. These things are small, insignificant, fast. You put them on your list, they get lost on your list. Actually, it's worse than that. What happens is, because they hang around on your list, your whole list gets stale. They stink up the whole list. You stop trusting your lists. You stop, and you stop using the whole system, and that procrastination on just a few small items suddenly spirals out of control, and you're in this. Not to put too fine a point on it, you're in a pit of despair because you're not getting anything done. And it's all because of these 2-minute things that you should have done when they first arrived in your world. So what I want to encourage you to do, what I want to get you to think about, what I want to get you to do is implement the 2-minute rule in your world. is gonna be transformative. What you are going to realize is that those 2-minute things, those little niggly, easy to do things, were hanging around in your world for way too long. You were procrastinating on them. That was causing you to procrastinate on other things because the 2-minute things were kind of niggling away at you. When you get into that situation, it becomes much harder to choose what you should do next, because there's these conflicting priorities going on in your head, completely counter to what GTD is all about, really. GTD is all about getting it out of your head, making the decisions ahead of time, and then being able to choose what to do next on autopilot. Completely the opposite of that actually happens if you ignore the 2-minute rule. Now, even if you're not a GTDer, even if you're not managing your tasks in this way, the 2-minute rule is fabulous to implement. You'll get all of these things out of your way. You get some easy wins under your belt, not just, oh, I added it to my list, I feel great, I feel like Teflon, I feel like, I'm skipping through a meadow picking wildflowers. A real cross it off my list, I achieved something win. And all of this will make you feel more productive. It will make you be more productive. It will limit procrastination in your world, and it will be a new habit that you can implement that really has impact on how effective you can be. So we're checking off the 3 sides of the effectiveness triangle there. We're increasing our productivity, we're limiting procrastination in our world, and we are building a new habit to boot. So go ahead, implement the 2-minute rule. Let me know how you get on. I love to hear about your success stories, or not. If it doesn't work for you, tell me that too. I'm always looking for your feedback on these ideas and concepts. So either way, let me know. Don't forget if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, like the channel, subscribe, so that I can let you know when I go live like this, or when I post a new video. If you're watching this on the Facebook page, make sure you like the page and that you're following us that way. Likewise over on Instagram, if you're watching me there. If you found some value here, share it widely. In the comments below, I am going to share a link to the original blog post that I referenced at the start of this, and it would be great if you go and check that out. And in the meantime, all that remains for me to say is to wish you the very best of productivity. Thanks, everyone.